Hi, Janelle Schaefer here with Sheep Hill Herbs, and welcome back to another video. I hope you're having a great day, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to make bone broth. And this isn't a herb how-to video in particular, but my bone broth is going to contain herbs, and I wouldn't be a good herbalist if I didn't include some things on nutrition, because it's not just about herbs, it's all the food we eat. And so I'm going to show you what I do and how I do this. And I also want to just make a note that every time I do a video, I'm incorporating my life into the video. So these things that I'm sharing, it's what is happening right now. What I'm doing, it's not like a super special video project that I came up with. It's more like, today I got to make bone broth, so I'm going to do a video. Or today I'm going up to the garden, see what I can find. Today I'm making this tincture, and it's incorporation. And I hope I can give away that feeling of incorporation, because that is what I want to try to teach people, how to incorporate these things that have been lost in favor of fast everything, fast food, fast life. You know, and we got to calm down and slow down and come back to who we are as people and step away from what the world is telling us that we got to be. So I hope you like this video and subscribe. Hit the like button and leave a nice comment. Thanks. Okay, so I have my beef soup bone here in front of me, and it's been wrapped, frozen. I go to a local farm. They butcher grazing animals that eat grass, and so this is the soup bone that's going to boil down into my water, releasing the marrow and the minerals. And then also the meat will, after it takes a while for the meat to soften, but this will add nutrients and protein and meat, you know, that hearty extra part, to my soup. So I'm going to add this to my big pot of water. Okay, so I have put my bone, my big soup bone, in the water, and I already have some herbs in there. And I'm going to add a little splash of apple cider vinegar, because that's what I do when I make bone broth. And I'm going to put about a teaspoon of sea salt. Actually, this is Himalayan salt, so not sea salt. Himalayan pink salt. You want to use real salt like this with minerals. And I'm going to add my onions and my herbs. Okay, so I just added my dried vegetables, and now I'm putting in one large diced onion. And I have my temperature on low, and all of these things I'm going to simmer with the bone for 12 hours. And I do turn it off overnight, but I am going to simmer for a long time. And then I always add fresh onion, fresh garlic, and fresh herbs after all the simmering to have live food. This is adding flavor and nutrients and minerals, but not all the enzymes that I preserve by putting things in without overboiling them. Okay, so I'm still adding ingredients, and then I am going to put the lid on. I'm adding 2 chopped cloves of garlic. And I'm adding dulse, which is a seaweed. I'm going to just sprinkle this in. It has natural iodine, which is useful for our bodies and our thyroid. And it is can be a salt replacer. And I'm adding a ample amount of dried sage. And I'm just going to stir this. And I got a lot more herbs to add before I'm ready to just put the lid on and let this cook. Okay, so now I'm adding herbes de Provence, which is a blend of marjoram, thyme, rosemary, and lavender. And I just love this blend. So I'm going to put that in my soup pot. And quite a number of pieces of bay. Now, I do this simpler's approach. I do not have exact measurements, But I will put measurements in the description so you have a better idea. I'm doing about two teaspoons or a good tablespoon of the herbes de Provence, and looks about like 6 or 7 bay leaves. And the bay leaves I'll then take out later, but I'm going to stir this up. I'm going to put the lid on and then go up to my garden and get my fresh herbs to add. And then this is just going to low simmer for a long time. Okay, so I just went up and gathered some herbs, and I have lemon thyme, which is doing fabulous right now, mid-November. Looks better than it did this summer. And I got some hyssop, which is slightly minty in flavor and does do well in soups. And I also have my oregano, which this is really spicy, tastes wonderful. So I am going to add all this herb. So you can see it's quite a bit, because I want to put a lot of flavor into my stock. And then I will be picking fresh herb later to add at the very end so that I have fresh herbs that haven't been boiled for hours and hours. So I just chopped up my herbs. Actually, I used the kitchen scissors, and I kind of leave mine bigger. And then I just want to show you, I cut off some of the more woody stem pieces. I'm not going to add that. Okay, so my soup is ready to go. It's right in there. And I'm going to let it simmer. Honestly, I'm going to let it simmer 4 hours today. If I time everything right, which it's hard to do as a busy person, a busy mom, I would like to have it simmer for 12 hours. And in that time, I would have to wind up adding some more water because a lot would boil down. So it's like you're making a decoction, an herbal decoction with meat. So I want to do this, and I'm looking at my clock, for 4 hours because I want to have it for dinner and I didn't time it perfectly. And sometimes that happens. It will still be a good soup. It will still have the nutrients, but when you do it longer, you get more out of the marrow than if you stop it sooner. So by stopping in 4 hours, I'm not going to pull as much out of the marrow. And in fact, I probably could take the bone and boil it again and make another batch if I put maybe like a new soup bone and then the little piece that's the old soup bone. So I learned about soup broths or bone broths from the book Nourishing Traditions by Fallon, and it has changed so much in our health by making these soups with the bones and the old traditional way. And also the flavor, nothing can compare to homemade soup with healthy animals and all of the ingredients being simmered lovingly into the soup. So there's nothing better to me than a really good bowl of soup. So I hope you like this video. I hope you've learned something new, and leave a like, a comment, and hit the subscribe button.